Report at 11.
Good night.
A health care plan for millions that could save America billions. Tough-minded debate over breast implants. How safe are they? And our Money Crunch report. Tonight, your credit report and how to fight back. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening, Dan Rather reporting. A new proposal tonight for trying to solve America's health care problem, a major worry across the country and a growing campaign issue. This national health care insurance idea is aimed at extending coverage to the millions of Americans who have none, while at the same time holding down medical costs for all. Correspondent Mark Phillips has our report.
The latest plan to revamp the American health care system is a radical one and comes from a coalition which until recently was at each other's throats over the issue, industry and labor. It's designed, its backers say, to fix the two major problems of the current system, accessibility and cost.
America spends more per person in this night than any other country in the world. Yet we still got 34 million not even covered.
To pay for the proposed plan called Pro Health, business and employees would each contribute a basic 0.5% of payroll and salary. Beyond that, companies could either offer standard private health insurance or kick in another 7% payroll tax to participate in a national health care system available to everybody. Costs could be kept down by a watchdog committee overseeing fees and hospital charges.
Healthcare reform isn't a choice between ideologies. It's a choice between indulging in political bickering or finding a way to change the healthcare course of calamity that we're on.
The proposal has the bipartisan backing of two former presidents, Ford and Carter. But a plan this radical also has opponents, starting with the administration.
It is true that the Bush administration has not come up with a plan, but we are working on trying to develop strategies that we think address the problems and don't create as many new problems as the ones that we're trying to fix.
Also among the opponents, small business.
They'll do three things under a mandate payroll tax approach. They will stop expansion, they will cut back on current production, and they'll start laying off workers.
The health care issue was a major factor in the victory of Harris Wofford in last week's Senate election in Pennsylvania. And now the issue's gone national because of a growing sense of public insecurity and the recession, because costs have skyrocketed to the point where many industries can no longer afford them. There are now more than a dozen proposals for remaking the health care system on the table, and there's a growing political imperative to do something. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Washington.
A tentative deal on Capitol Hill tonight on another pocketbook issue causing widespread worry, benefits for the jobless. Republican and Democratic leaders in the House are now said to be close to a done deal, a compromise with President Bush to provide 20 additional weeks of unemployment benefits to the long-term jobless. President Bush vetoed earlier versions of this bill. With some polls indicating that Mr. Bush may be vulnerable on economic issues, the president today joined some members of Congress in calling on banks to lower their interest rates on consumer credit cards. This came as a Times Mirror poll indicated that Mr. Bush, for the first time, may be in a virtual dead heat for re-election against any unnamed Democrat at this time. The poll indicated Mr. Bush would beat specific Democrats, including Mario Cuomo, should he eventually decide to run. In Detroit, the Democrats who are already officially running against President Bush engaged in their first debate today, each one seeking to stand out from the pack and win support. Scott Pelley has our debate report.
All six present and accounted for.
Today, they met for the first time, all six major Democratic presidential candidates before the convention of the AFL-CIO. Each hopes to strike a theme that will set his campaign apart.
Building roads and highways and bridges and mass transit and sewer and water and energy and communication systems. And I mean to do it with American steel and American products and American labor here in our own country. It means...
Only Harkin caught fire with the labor delegates. All of the candidates were for health care reform and job creation, but their message was often muddled. One exception, this torpedo from former Senator Paul Tsongas.
David Duke is the son of George Bush.
As always, organized labor will be vital to the Democratic candidates. Union locals will provide money, but even more important is the grassroots organization that can mean the margin of victory in the early caucuses and primaries. But today, with this six-pack of candidates, there was a strong longing for more.
I think they got to get a much stronger candidate than these six fellows. You got to have voter appeal. You got to have a program.
There's a lot of good men out there. I'm not sure if these six.
There's going to be some candidates come forward after this.
You're waiting for more.
Yeah, I'm waiting for more. Yeah.
Even now, for many delegates, there is a sense the campaign has not really started. They are still shopping, and today, many felt they saw no clear winners, only the unsuccessful and the untested. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Detroit.
Federal health officials opened hearings today about possible health risks from silicone gel breast implants. 2 million women have received them over the past 3 decades, and as correspondent Rita Braver reports, there is plenty of debate now about those implants.
There was passion in the faces and the voices of the women who came to argue for or against keeping silicone breast implants on the market, pending further scientific study.
I would rather be dead than walk around without my breast implants. There is nobody who will ever take them away from me.
7 surgeries in 18 months. The pain continues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The federal government has never evaluated the safety of implants, and over the years, some women with implants have reported a wide variety of symptoms, including diseases of the immune system and hardening of the breasts. But most women have had no major side effects and praise the value of implants to enhance a woman's looks or rebuild a body ravaged by cancer.
I can't tell you the importance of a ray of hope, something to live for in one's battle with cancer. Breast implants are that ray of hope.
Mine are going to be taken out. The risks are so frightening that I cannot see keeping these in. They're like a dripping faucet.
Teams of doctors testified that implants are safe.
There is currently no conclusive evidence establishing a link between silicone breast implants and serious health risks.
But it was little comfort to women who believe their implants have made them sick.
I would give anything to be restored to the condition I was before I had my breast implant surgery. I'm in constant pain every day.
Even after this panel makes its recommendations, there's expected to be lots more lobbying by both sides. And the FDA will not make its final decision on breast implants until January of next year. Rita Braver, CBS News, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, your credit report and how to make sure it's correct. And Oprah Winfrey tells Congress a personal and ugly story.
Ford Motor Company profiles in quality, vision.
The quality of the glass that goes into our cars is so important, we make it ourselves.
No other car company in the world does that.
Ford Glass has to pass over 110 quality inspections. Our people check it, our lasers check it, our robots check it.
Our glass is so good, it not only goes into our cars, many other automakers put it in their cars.
Our goal is to build the highest quality cars and trucks in the world.
At Ford, quality is job one.
Alaska. Cold, clear waters. This is where it begins. Red Lobster now brings you the Alaskan Crab Rush. When snow crab is at its sweetest, juiciest. Right now, enjoy 8 great crab dinners starting at just $8.99. The Alaskan Crab Rush. Before it's over, rush to Red Lobster.
President Bush and Vice President Quayle say there is no recession. It's over. Whether that is true or not, everybody agrees that money is tight for many Americans. If you're one of them, certainly the last thing you need to hear is that your credit is no good, being stamped lousy, when you know you pay your bills. It can happen. In fact, it happened to one entire town. So what to do? Ray Brady shows and tells you in tonight's installment of our special series on the economy, The Money Crunch, Making It in America.
It's an affluent little town, Norwich, Vermont, populated by professionals. But through an error in the files of TRW, the giant credit reporting company, all 1,400 taxpayers in this town were branded as credit deadbeats, no longer able to take out a mortgage or even use a credit card. Angry inquiries poured into the office of town clerk Karen Porter.
Karen Porter, may I help you? They were frustrated, angry, and concerned. You know, people were trying to refinance their mortgages, purchase cars, and this was slowing them down.
Across America, credit reports are the #1 consumer complaint. In fact, the number of people complaining about them to the government jumped 50% last year. People like Ursula Daniels, now unable to get credit. She's been trying for 4 years to get her report straightened out.
You feel like you want to bang your head on a wall. You feel helpless. You have control over your life.
If you've got a problem, first ask the agency in question for a copy of your credit report. If you've been denied credit, you're entitled to that report free. It's the law, federal law. Something inaccurate in it? Circle the error and send back the report. Like Karen Porter, you might do a little detective work. She found a part-time worker for a TRW supplier looking for delinquent taxpayers had mistakenly copied down the names of those who had paid taxes.
Everyone was reported as being a delinquent taxpayer.
Even though it says here,
even though
paid.
it clearly shows they were paid.
TRW, this is Helen.
This is Dave. May I help you?
Once the agency gets your report and the results of your detective work, it's supposed to get back to you within 30 to 60 days. TRW's John McGee says his company reacted fast with Karen Porter.
Once notified by the court authorities in Vermont, we had that information removed from our files within 48 hours.
That's not how Karen Porter remembers it.
I got a telephone number in New Jersey and began calling it two or three times a day. And each time I was told a supervisor would return my call. Of course, they didn't.
If you feel the credit company's giving you the runaround, get in touch with the Federal Trade Commission in Washington or your state attorney general. That should get action because Congress is threatening to crack down, and the credit companies these days are the ones running scared. Dan?
Thanks, Ray. Stay here with us now for more CBS News, including the Oprah Winfrey story on Capitol Hill and Eye on America. Tonight, giving up the hectic pace to spend more time with the family.
Oldsmobile knows that all your roads won't be sunny roads. That's why the all-new Oldsmobile 88 Royale LS offers you advanced traction engineering. The combination of anti-lock brakes, traction control, and road-holding front-wheel drive. The three elements to beat the elements. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Now, get 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months.
The glorious freshness of mint. Nobody knows it better than Polident. That's why there's a splash of mint in every Polident tablet to leave your dentures feeling gloriously clean and fresh. Get super strength Polident with a splash of mint.
He's back. This time we get him. STP gas treatment. Cleans intake valves and fuel injectors to help engines run better. STP, the edge.
This is regular. This is better. This Bayer is regular, but for headaches, Anacin is better. This is regular. This is better. This Bufferin is regular, but for headaches, Anacin is better. What makes Anacin better? It's simple. Regular Bayer and Bufferin have one ingredient for pain, but Anacin has two ingredients, an effective pain medicine plus a second ingredient that makes Anacin work better. For headache relief, get Anacin. Get better.
Who will keep Marissa? Her father? His estranged wife? Or the surrogate mother? Whose baby is it? Find out on 48 Hours Wednesday.
The Pentagon and American blood banks in general today stopped accepting blood from veterans of the Persian Gulf War, military and civilian. The reason? 22 U.S. servicemen have come down with a potentially life-threatening disease transmitted by the sandfly parasite. Now, look at some other stories CBS News is covering. In Moscow, the Russian language edition of President Gorbachev's book about the summer coup went on sale today. At a news conference promoting his book, Gorbachev said he had ignored advance warning of the coup phoned in by President Bush. The medieval Croatian city of Dubrovnik was blasted by artillery and rocket fire today as Yugoslav Central Government Army gunners intensified their attacks. Croatian reports say at least 20 people were killed. At CIA headquarters outside Washington, Robert Gates was sworn in today as President Bush's new director of the agency. And Magic Johnson is getting an invitation from the White House to join the National AIDS Commission. The retired basketball star is fighting the AIDS virus. On Capitol Hill during the day, a dramatic appeal for creating a government data bank on child abusers and mandatory screening of child care workers. The call came from Oprah Winfrey, the talk show host and self-described child abuse victim. Bob Schieffer has her story.
Oprah, you got a great show. I watch it every day. Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey sets off this kind of commotion wherever she goes now, but she came to the Capitol to tell of a very different time in her life.
I was first raped at the age of 9 by a 19-year-old cousin. I was repeatedly sexually molested by a family friend after that. And when I was 14, molested by an uncle. But was molested over a period of from the time that I was 9 to 14. Then I was sent to live with my father. That's when it ended.
And that is why Oprah Winfrey today urged the Senate Judiciary Committee to pass legislation she has designed which calls for creating a national record center where all child abuse cases would be filed and where daycare centers and other businesses dealing with children could make background checks on the people they hire, a step she called crucial.
Pedophiles, as you all have mentioned here, seek employment where they will be in contact with children. They seek employment as camp counselors and babysitters and school bus drivers and daycare workers. And they insidiously seek out access to children. That's what they do.
It can sometimes take years for legislation to be written into law, but in this case it may go a lot faster because Washington is always impressed with this kind of star power. And after the mess it made at the Thomas hearings, the Judiciary Committee is delighted to have a popular cause. So delighted, Committee Chairman Biden said he personally will sponsor the legislation. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
Once again, Buick is raising the banner for quality in America. Introducing the 1992 LeSabre with a higher level of power, safety, security, and convenience. This new LeSabre is going to be one tough act to follow. LeSabre for 1992 from Buick.
Nighttime, one of the worst times for pain. Pain that's hard to face alone. That's why you need new Ultra Strength Bengay. It's the strongest Bengay ever. For muscle pain that's hard to ignore. Minor arthritis pain. Back pain. Pain that seems worse at night. New Ultra Strength Bengay with added power and a third pain reliever. Deep, penetrating warmth for fast, long-lasting relief. You can say goodnight to your pain with new Ultra Strength Bengay.
MetLife manages assets of over $125 billion. When 45 million people count on you for insurance and financial services, you can never be too strong. Get Met. It pays.
You know, when you're eating Quaker Oats for breakfast, you're doing the right thing. Pure nutrition, and it's piping hot. Then when you're not all hungry by 10 o'clock, and you're still going strong at 11, you know it again. Quaker Oats is the right thing to do.
I was dreaming that I woke up, turned on the TV, and my afternoon soap stars were on. And guess what? All this week they are on in the morning on CBS This Morning. It's breakfast for your head.
Now, a different kind of story about the money crunch, about taking advantage of economic hard times. On one side, businesses, which say time is money. On the other side, workers who say free time is priceless. Bruce Morton reports tonight's Eye on America.
Okay. Excellent. So we're done. Thank you very much.
Lisa Kruger used to be a corporate rocket, headed for the top.
What used to motivate me totally in my life was getting that promotion.
Daniel changed all that.
Are you going to make a happy face or a grumpy face on there? A happy face. Oh, a happy face.
Lisa now works only half a day. She gave up medical benefits, almost half her salary, but she and her husband think it's worth it, even in a recession.
If we have to forego a vacation, if we have to forego wallpapering the front foyer for a year, so be it. The time with the family is much more important.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, getting by.
This is the way it used to be. Get there early, stay there late, scramble up that ladder. That's changing.
There are very few people who are willing to say on their tombstone, I wish I had spent more time at the office.
In one recent survey, 70% of those making more than $30,000 a year said that even in a recession, they'd rather have an extra day off every week than an extra day's pay.
Working 60, 70 hours a week, you're not going to enjoy a family. Your family grows up around you without you, and they don't even get to know you.
Al and Kim Moe, like Lisa Kruger, work at the Johnson's Wax Company in Racine. They work flexible time. It adds up to 40 hours, but they pick which 40 hours.
Not 6, 2.
If I want to spend a little extra time at daycare reading a book, I can do that. I don't have to be here at 8 o'clock. I don't go home at 4 o'clock on the button. It works both ways. The company takes care of me, and I take care of my job.
In a recession, some companies say it makes economic sense to give employees extra time instead of extra money.
If we were hit with very significant slowness in sales, we'd be more interested in people taking more time off or going even to part-time status as a cost control factor.
What a lot of our employees are saying now is, we'll work fewer hours and you can even pay us less. And that will be a benefit to the quality of our life, and it will also be a cost saving to the company.
We can buy this whole unit just like this from...
Men, statistics show, are increasingly interested in flexible time. Men like Don Brunk. He's a research engineer with DuPont in Wilmington. He now works 4 10-hour days a week and spends the other day on a different research project, the care and feeding of young Reuben.
What, medallion?
He and his wife, she's a nurse, have made adjustments. They know the time Don took off after Reuben's birth means it will take longer for him to get a promotion.
I think I would be more stressed if it wasn't for the fact that I have more time, because I would just feel torn between the demands of family and the demands of work, and I would feel like I was cheating both.
Renee Phillips, also at DuPont, faced another choice. She'd worked for 2 years for a transfer to a big job in Europe. When the offer came, she talked it over with her daughters. She's a single parent, and turned it down.
I felt that I would spread myself way too thin and not do a real high-quality job on either side, and I'm not a person that can do that.
Attention! Brian's parents are lost.
As more and more Americans become two-income families, they seem to be looking for places to spend more time with their kids. Companies are setting up clean, safe places like this, where parents and their kids can frolic for a fee. Family values are at a premium.
It's really been great watching Reuben grow up. So many things are happening. It's just a thrill.
Recession or no, one of the themes of the 90s may be, you keep the money, boss. I'll take the time.
I gotta go, big guy. Want a kiss?
Bruce Morton, CBS News, Naperville, Illinois.
With the highest resale value in its class and proven Honda reliability, the Accord is a safe place to put your money.
Everyone knows Contact wrote the book on cold medicine. Now Contact's added a whole new chapter, introducing new Contact Day and Night. On this page, yellow day caplets that knock out your cold symptoms without making you drowsy, so you can breathe easy and work all day long. On this page, blue night caplets that relieve your symptoms to let you rest. Both formulas control your cold symptoms with the right medicine at the right time. New Contact Day and Night, a whole new chapter in cold relief.
My dad had ulcers, so when my stomach started acting up, I was afraid to go to the doctor. But finally, I went. Was I relieved when my doctor said Mylanta? He said it was indigestion, not an ulcer, and my kind of indigestion called for a strong medicine.
Mylanta is strong medicine, strongly recommended. In fact, Mylanta is the antacid doctors recommend most.
My doctor said Mylanta.
And try Mylanta's Mylacon. It has the best medicine for gas.
5-day week, 8-hour day, paid sick leave, higher wages, health insurance, overtime pay, pensions, safer working conditions, paid holidays, job security, paid vacations, maternity leave. The proceeding has been brought to you by the men and women of the unions of the AFL-CIO who won these benefits at the bargaining table and set the standard for all working Americans. A driver's side airbag is now standard on every new Accord, Civic, and Prelude. But remember, it's most effective when you wear your seatbelt.
There are a lot of things television news doesn't do well. One of the things we think it does do well is take you there, take you to places. That's what we're going to do now. Western cameras in Moscow were given a rare look today inside the inner sanctum, a once revered shrine to a one-time terrorist dictator and founder of a failed social and economic system. Correspondent Anthony Mason takes you under and inside Lenin's tomb.
For the past 4 decades on Red Square, twice a week, an unassuming biochemist has gone to visit his most important patient through a special underground entrance. A patient who is guarded round the clock, kept under lock and key. A patient who has been dead for 67 years. Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. When the father of communism was laid to rest in 1924, the party asked experts to do the unthinkable, to keep his body on view indefinitely, in effect, to keep Lenin alive. It was until recently a top-secret job which Sergei Sergeyevich and a staff of 10 scientists performed with pride. We put samples of Lenin's body and living tissue under a microscope, this scientist says, and no one can tell the difference. In a network of tunnels beneath Red Square, the temperature, humidity, and security of Lenin's mausoleum are controlled 24 hours a day. Over the years, as millions of faithful have filed in to see Lenin's body, there have been whispers that it was all an elaborate communist charade.
For the record, can you put to rest the rumor that that is a wax figure in the mausoleum?
No, that's definitely Lenin, says Sergei Sergeyevich, who has also embalmed Stalin and Ho Chi Minh. If it weren't, says his colleague, why would we need to conduct all these elaborate experiments? Lenin, they say, could lie in this state for at least another 100 years. Everything in the mausoleum is stable. Outside, it is not. As monuments have been toppling across the Soviet Union, there have been calls for Lenin himself to be removed. I'm not a politician, Sergei says, but as a scientist, I would be disappointed. Lenin's experiment, communism, has already finished. But if the lines were long outside his mausoleum this past weekend, it may be because people sense that Sergei Sergeyevich's experiment may be ending soon, too. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Moscow.
And that's part of our world tonight. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Are you stressed out about choosing affordable health care? You're not alone. Some money-saving alternatives for you. Tomorrow's Money Crunch Report on the CBS Evening News. This is CBS.
With the highest resale value in its class,